Welcome back, MTG Joe here, and today we are replaying with a card that has now been unbanned in Historic. We have Fires of Invention. So this is a unbanned and kind of nerfed version of Fires of Invention. They basically just added 1 mana to its casting cost. It's now a 5 mana spell, but Fires lets you cast 2 spells per turn. For free, based on the number of lands you have. So really at the core of the deck, and what we saw a lot in Standard, was shells that either looked to abuse mana sinks, stuff like Kenrith the Return King. There was the Planeswalker heavy versions. There was the versions that used fires to transmogrify into Agent of Treachery. There was the Cavaliers version that looked to use the Mythic Cavaliers from, I believe, M20, the set. And then those all had kind of mana sink abilities or just kind of ETB style effects. And then there was the whole Yorion Blink the Squad kind of go. So this particular version I'm looking to build is more along the lines of a Jeskai control deck. Fire of Inventions, this is kind of funny because I pretty much built this deck with cards that were obviously legal at the time in Pioneer in 2019 when Pioneer first came out, and it was like 4 color. I had 5 mana Bolus in there. I had 7 mana Bolus. I played the deck once. It's like a $500 deck. I had like the Alt Art SDCC Bolus. Got to play with the deck once, and then COVID happened. So I'm kind of just reliving. This is a deck that I own in paper to some extent. I have my 4 foil Teferis pre-nerf. I have my other Teferi, so this is a deck that kind of holds a bit of closeness to my heart. But what we're kind of upgrading with Historic, so it's a Jeskai control deck. We're winning primarily through Planeswalkers as well as Shark Typhoon or Kenrith. So we have Chandras that are uncounterable. Chandra 4 also helps you ramp. We have Teferi that's been nerfed and buffed, costs 1 more, but more loyalty. We have Teferi, Shark Typhoons, like I mentioned, mana sink in Kenrith the Return King. We have sweepers in the form of Day of Judgment, Wrath of God, and I'm going with Divine Purge. For the most part, we want to keep our bigger threats around, and this gets rid of small treasure tokens, anything of the nature. I was actually playing this offline, and we were running into the Turbo Sarah Emissary, the Gruul version, that uses all the treasure tokens, and I was able to exile their tokens and treasure to kind of screw up their turn. We have Narsets in there for card advantage. And then kind of around the periphery, we have removal in the form of Unholy Heat. Between Planeswalkers, lands, sorceries, instants, enchantments, artifacts, there's a lot of ways to turn on Delirium. Trying out some Omen of the Sea. Not the most premier card draw, but a couple of reasons here. It's a mana sink late, as well as it's something that can be picked up with Teferi and reset, so you can cast it again. Lightning Helix, as well as Prismari Command, kind of round it up. Prismari is just a useful card all around. And the matchups where we have, say, against control, we're holding Wrath of Gods or Divine Purges that aren't as good. It's a way for us to loot through. And then finally, we have Fae of Wishes. Fae we can use as a granted board, so basically you can cast both sides. And here, I just kind of have some situationally good cards. I'm actually going to switch a Wrath of God for a bigger card draw spell. So we have Elspeth Conquers Death, Teferi, we have Farewell, Thought Distortion, Ruinous Ultimatum, blow up everything up, Genesis Ultimatum for card advantage. Can't be countered. Or draw 7. What do we got? Wasn't there that mythic? I might not have it. Can't be countered. Forget, commence the endgame. This spell can't be countered, draw X, and then amass. So we can go with that. We can go draw card. I want something that's a big mana, at least 4 or 5 mana. So one thing like Memory Deluge, you don't get the actual benefit of it. We might do Commit Memory. Could be a decent inclusion. It lets us memory afterwards with Narset if we have it out. We have Tezzeret's Gambit, which is actually not too bad. It would let us proliferate on our planeswalkers. We have Paradoxical Outcome, which is not really where we want to be. Patient Rebuilding, Ilmarith. Gravenlore, we don't have any snowlands. So it's probably... Actually, Boon of the Wishgiver is not terrible. We can look at that, perhaps. That might be something. Commence gives us... Because the problem is if we have 0 cards in hand, it's only really a draw 2, which isn't great. Whereas we want like a bigger kind of card advantage engine. I think I actually like the idea of Tezzeret's Gambit. We can try that out. Now let's do Commit Memory. It's a catch-all answer for something like 9 lives, anything like that. Or it also lets us just memory half, and then if we have Narset out, it gets the lock. So, like, to give you an idea, if I was excited about this card, we got 4 decks. We'll probably run 1 or 2 of these for videos, and then kind of see where we go from there. But let's give this a shot. We're towards the end of the season too, so we're trying to compete for top 1200. Firewalkers, not to make confused with Chandra Fires or Boros Fires or Rakdos / Nicobolus Fires. So to preface, I played 3 games yesterday. I won all 3 games. I won all 3 games largely not behind Fires. I think it's overall maybe too slow for the format going forward, but we'll see. That's why we test these things. I think in the dark this hand's fine. We can cycle these Shark Typhoons. Against a combo deck, this hand's not really the best. So we're probably just going to cycle this for 0. It puts an enchantment into our graveyard. This is Reanimator, so we're going to have to likely use 2 burn spells. Did they miss a line drop? We do have 2 Soul Guide Lanterns. Perfect. Like we drew it up. See if we get the concession out of them. There is a reason to hit this Faithless Looting, but I think we just hold it and let them spend their turns digging. Wow, they're really not hitting anything. I think we could take 2 here. Oh, this might be the Scholar of the Lost Trove. The 9 mana big mythic, return all creatures from all graveyards to the battlefield. We'll get in with a 2/2. We can start poking at them. Yeah, Rise of the Dark Realms is the card I was thinking of. Land? Not land. Line there would have been nice. I think we're running 25 plus... Oh no, I took out the ramp. So 25. I think at this point we have enchantment instant. We can put an artifact. So I'm going to save Kenrith for next turn since we can get the free value, and if they have a removal spell, I don't want them to use it this turn. We'll play A-Fires, we'll cast a free value. Next turn with Kenrith it's lethal. Notably, they don't have white mana. Let's go, Kenny. Dun 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 dun. And that's what I like about this removal package. We can just dump in a bunch of mana. We have just burn spells to the face, the old triple Helix, double Shark Typhoon line. Alrighty, not bad, not bad. Opponent was trying to do some shenanigans, but Fires kind of pushed us through. Sorry, it's my morning coffee. It is, I have the day off. Play some Magic, have some coffee. In typical Canadian fashion, my day off, it snows. So we're in top 800 with Fires. I started in like the 1500s. Opponent goes first. I don't have double white. We don't have plays potentially till turn 3. I think we try this nonetheless. We could get run over by a really aggressive draw. But I'm hoping like this and then Teferi bouncing the thing after they cast it again seems pretty good. If this is like mono red aggro, it could be a little dicey if they have like a really aggressive start. This looks like potentially colorless control, could be artifact combo, but likely colorless control. And you know it's great against colorless control, the thing that exiles all artifacts perpetually. So we gotta make sure to do this if they put another cheap artifact out. I think this turn it's probably worth us doing this, only because it sets them back some mana. And then next turn I could Teferi bounce the Hedron Archive. Okay, so they're in the engine deck.
I'm known for my excellent timing. Don't worry, I got this.
Okay, so I can get Ruinous Ultimatum afterwards. I have Farewell as well. Oh, that's not what I wanted. So we'll plus you.
That's more like it.
We will shock here. I don't think I'm dead this turn. So I'm actually going to, granted this turn. The reason is I might need this mana from Chandra. So if I get this mana, then we can use it. If we draw a land, we're okay. I also have Teferi that I could just bounce in a pinch. Opponent's going all in. Okay, they could pop off here if they start chaining enough things together. They had like a crazy sequence of draws. Like their hand being exactly that seems pretty solid. They have enough mana and like card draw that they can just go through a bunch of stuff. They have enough life to do it as well. We need like a pocket of lands. The thing is, without haste, I don't know how they beat me. They might have Ugin in the deck, which could be a way, but then I still just need a land to exile everything. Okay, so they hit Ugin. So I can still hit Farewell.
Can be undone.
I basically just want to see if they have like Aetherflux Reservoir. If they have Reservoir, then I know we lose. But like the fact they had just 5 lands, all their mana rocks, and the last card was that when we untap with Farewell. Okay, so show me the Reservoir and then I'll concede. Okay, it's a good sign at least. So they can go Spyglass. Odd that they don't have Reservoir in the sideboard. Still need to hit a land. If I don't hit land, then I'm in a pretty rough spot. We are banking on fires there. Come on. And while, like, this game's a loss, it's probably not the end of the world. Because, like, this isn't a deck you usually play against. Okay, show me Aetherflux Reservoir. That's all I want to see. Thank you. Now I can concede. That's the thing, like, we're highly likely to be dead, but until they showed me, especially when they had Karn, and then Karn just didn't fetch anything. Our hand was pretty good, we were just a turn off. If we were able to basically drop the Farewell the turn earlier, we get rid of their Reservoir, or we get rid of their engine, and I think that's where a lot of the shenanigans starts. Then we're in a pretty solid spot. Because then we just get our walkers going, but without any pressure against that deck, you're not going to do too much. I think we keep. I can cycle if needed. I have Teferi as a bounce. Could just get Helioted. Ooh, that's perfect. So do this. We'll cycle this. I have this as an option for this turn if needed. Okay, since I also drew Wrath of God, I'm comfortable with Divine Purging this turn. I was going to consider holding it back a turn. But here I could Teferi bounce whatever they do. It also forces them, if they have Collected Company, to cast it before this resolves. Also, Chandra's not bad. Taking a bit of damage here. So I could Tef, bounce the Prosperous Innkeeper. That takes most of their turn. I could Chandra downtick on it, but I'm less inclined to Chandra downtick on it. This also gives me a card draw. It also plays around them ripping Collected Company. Oh, also forgot to mention, we're playing a lot of these channel lines. They're really good with fires out. But I think just given that we've done a lot of damage to ourselves this game, okay, so they can go through all that. I have Wrath of God here. They chose their opening here. We've already shown Wrath, so I'm fine here. They'll gain some life, but we could eventually just drain them out. A bunch of Chandra emblems grinding them out is good. It would only be bad if they had something without haste. I guess we could have bounced Heliod instead of the Innkeeper. So I think we're actually going to shock this turn, because I do want to keep this Eiganjo because it's a free land for next turn. It lets me protect myself. I also have this Chandra as another sweeper. And now we'll just start trying to grind. I have Hall of the Storm Giants as well. But I can start using these Chandras to accrue value. Oh, opponent. Did you forget about Teferi's passive text? So, hard cast Shark. Hard cast Chandra.
Someone's getting a little
Alright, let's see. Okay, opponent's going to try to cast Collected Company. We're going to see them hovering over Teferi Time Raveler. And now we get the emblems going, we got Sharks attacking. So we do have Chandra that can downtick here if needed. Okay, we have Chalasara. It's fine as well. No, they don't attack. So Chandra 3. Get rid of all that. We'll do this. Opponent, you let me know when we're done here.
You wanna go, tough guy? See ya.
Oh, I've done the hero thing before.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can go to 9. Uptick Chandra. Deal another 2. Opponent, you tell me if we're done having fun. Infinite life? I don't think so. When your deck lets you hardcast Shark into 6 mana Chandra, it's a good time. It is a good time. Let's give this one more, and then I'll do a separate video for the other version of Fire, so that way you can pick out which one you like. I basically built them all as kind of mid-rangey control decks. I think that's the way you gotta build Fires. I don't think the all-in ramp ones are gonna be good enough, just because your Cavaliers aren't beating like turn 3, turn 4 Sarah's Emissary. So you need to control the board more so. We go first here. I think we need some white mana. But mana's otherwise pretty good. We have Omen. And like I'm kind of cool just drawing lions in any case, even if that's something we run into. I don't think I keep this hand on the draw. Okay, especially against blue-white control, I think we're fine. We'll Omen on their turn if they want to tap out. Looking for lands here. Neither of these are of interest. While this does come into play tapped, I think I just want to cycle a Shark for 1 here. Okay, so here I'm really just interested in finding lands, I think. So we will Omen. It's very likely with 3 blue mana up, they're gonna have either like Archmage Charm, something like that, so running the Chandra out's not the best. Like, while I like Narset in this matchup, I don't think we're going to be resolving it anytime soon. Okay, so could run out Chandra. See what they do here. So my thought here is they probably go Tef5 here. I drop this Chandra. If they go past the turn, I still drop this Chandra. I plus get an emblem on it. They drop Teferi, they minus. I drop my second Chandra minus on the Teferi. We don't care about the graveyard. I guess because of Unholy Heat, we might. I think I do want at least 1 white source. So they could have commit to memory, like commit here. That's the only answer that they would have. If they do, Again, it's fine.
Anyone who stands in my way is getting sizzled.
They could have Fateful Absence. Some of these blue-white decks are running that now. This game we might just be able to scrub through.
No pressure.
On the back of Chandra. If we could get like 2 emblems off, it's usually pretty good. It puts enough of a clock on them. And then I have this Hall of the Storm Giants that can start. Yeah, if they're just doing that, I don't mind. Okay, they go Absence here. So the thing is, I can't beat... Like a Teferi coming down is going to be problematic. They're holding up mana, so they could very well have a counter. I think I'm just going to force them to have another answer here.
Stay back. I'm an explosively good pyromancer. Is it just me, or is it getting a little warm in here?
I could Soul Guide. We only have the 2 Chandras in the deck. We have the 2 Shark Typhoons. They're likely not... Oh, no, I need to get rid of the Deluge. That was a mistake. I'm just gonna do this now. Let's not double down on the mistake. Okay, so the fact they had both their Fateful Absence, I don't know how many they're playing at this point, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Another land lets us go double Chandra.
I have practiced against many foes, but thoughtfulness before.
I mean, if I can... Okay, so they have Veto. This should bait out a counter out of them. Guess it doesn't.
I was not prepared for this.
Gonna pass the turn here. We're ahead on life. I can pop this and draw a card. Could have Fateful Absence. They would have enough for the ward ability as well. Okay, so they're holding it back, so they're at least acknowledging. Helix is fine. Really, we're just trying to race them at this point. Unholy Heat's actually really good. Red, blue, blue, red. And I'm going to play spells on their turn, try to get them to tap out. Basically, I just don't want them to be able to activate their Castle Vantress. If I could sneak a Teferi down, it would be good. even with this, if they drop Teferi 5, I have Unholy Heat. They're on a 7-turn clock. So the fact we drew both our Chandras this game was pretty good. They did have 2 of their own Fateful Absence, which is like their only clean answer in the deck. This is interesting, because do I draw? I think we just draw here. I need to save this for like Teferi. Blue, white, blue. I'm just trying to force them to like spend all their mana every turn countering stuff. Really, the more they do this, the better chance I have of resolving a threat. Okay, we've seen a number of charms come out of them. So here we have an interesting decision. I can plus to get 2 more points of damage. I can kill the thing. I think we're just gonna go the damage route. Kenrith would have been good. Because here, if they're spending their whole turn,
coming off.
Okay, I think we're doing this.
I guess that's it then.
That's fine. It gets them to 8. I have Divine Purge here. I can use that. Divine Purge does take me off of Helix mana, but this does require them to attack both into Chandra. If they fire up the hall, that taps them down low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Land lets me Helix and attack with the hall. We're basically just trying to like slow them down a couple turns.
Right on.
It's very annoying.
I'm not done.
Eiganjo's also a bit of a pain. This deck doesn't really have ways to gain life typically. Okay, they're letting me keep Chandra.
Yup, you're going down.
So we're just gonna decline here. So I think this is fine, because I could Prismari Command to deal 2. This could also bait out a counter. So here, I think we got them. Deal 2, create a treasure. Helix a face. Got him! no fires needed. So that was actually pretty sweet because we were able to take them out through like a non-fires game plan. We had games where we won through fires, games where we didn't. The Chandra is just the emblems really putting a clock on our opponent there. The Wandering Emperor seems really good in blue-white control. I don't think it's good in our deck because a big element of the Wandering Emperor's like benefit comes from an instant speed flash, which we don't necessarily play. But we got to do the Kenrith thing. We almost got to do the Fae of Wishes and to blow up their board, but they comboed off. The burn package seems good. The Chandra seem good. The A-Teferi seem good. We never got Hero of Dominaria out. Prismari, while useful, maybe we go another Shark Typhoon. The Divine Purges were very good. They bought us a lot of time in games. It might be that Fae's too slow and we just go up like another Shark Typhoon. Because Fae's really only good with fires. So maybe I would just trim that, but it's kind of the idea of the deck. Let me know what you think. If you have any cool fires builds, like I said, one of my favorite type of archetypes, so drop it in the comments. Thanks for watching. Have a great one.